everybody. It's Becky Pearson with Pivot Point, and I have the great honor today of interviewing Sherry Jarvis of Burwell, Nebraska, and Sherry Jarvis Horsemanship. And we are so happy to have you, Sherry. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, Sherry, let's dive into a little bit of what you do. I got introduced to you a few years ago, well, almost like probably 15 years ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah, from a friend of mine. I was talking about this horse that I was not really having a connection with. I took a lesson with you just to like gain a deeper connection with him. And then I also brought Emma to you when she was just little because she had
I
fallen
remember.
off. Yeah, I think I will have to see if I can find that picture of her and her pony. And Sherry, you did a great job with her that day, establishing more confidence. But I'm gonna let everybody kind of hear you tell your story for our listeners on the podcast, like what you do and how you do it.
Okay. Well, this could take a while, but I'm going to give you the short version because I'm 67 and been in horses my whole life. So we're going to do the edited version.
Okay.
But really, about 25 or so years ago, I quit teaching. And because I just saw a lot of women, I did a demonstration at a horse expo, and all the women afterwards, and I wasn't even professional at that time, and they kept coming up to me and they kept saying, I want to ride with confidence like you do. And so thus I helped Emma. And that then was born the first confidence camp. And I had my first confidence camp out at Calmus Outfitters. That's my cousin's near Burwell. I'm near Burwell, Nebraska. And I had several confidence camps for years after that at Schweitzer's, Calmus Outfitters. But they started getting so busy with people that are coming to their lodges for the lake and fishing and the lake work and hunting and things like that, that I just couldn't even I'd have to have my reservations in a year in advance. So then I started doing some clinics around, and I went to several different states. I went as far as Pennsylvania, but I didn't like traveling. I'm a homebody in the sandhills. I just want to stay home. So I then my business has morphed over the years. I also was taking horses in training during all of that time, breaking colts, and I had interns. And then it morphed into the Horse Lovers Bunkhouse. So I got a little bunkhouse here near Burwell, and I went, well, I won't make as much money, and I don't, but that's okay. But I can help people more on an individual basis. So, in clinics, you have 10 to 20 people, and it's really hard to get to all the people and to really make a big difference. And so then I did my horse camps here, and I only have 5 people at a time. And in fact, in May, I have just one person coming for 4 days and another one person, but I'm helping them with confidence. And I did have what I called some yoga riding camps a few years ago where we did exercises. But 2 years ago, I quit training horses professionally because my body just couldn't take it anymore. I was having a lot of back and knee pain and shoulder pain. So I started going to a chiropractor, and that is when I found out what Becky was doing. Even though, like you said, we knew each other from years ago, I didn't know what you were doing. And just about 10 days ago, I had my first appointment with her, and it was amazing. I was excited, but very it was an eye opener to realize how much my body had deteriorated. I didn't really understand, other than 2 years ago, I quit training horses professionally because I knew my body couldn't take those 10, 12 hours days riding all day long every day. And so it's been a game changer in just a week. I've only had one day that I didn't do my exercises. And I told Becky the other day, I have a 16 two-hand mare and I'm only 5'1". So my stirrups are up there a long ways. And I knew there was no way I could mount this horse. And so I was using a mounting block. But even so, I was having to lift my left foot even into the stirrup on a mounting block. And guess what, Becky? I don't have to do that anymore. I can just pop my foot up there like I was 50 again. It's so amazing and wonderful. And also, dismounting was very difficult. Getting my leg to swing over the back of the cantle of the saddle was really painful. And no pain, girl,
Awesome.
already. So
Awesome.
I highly recommend Becky. And that's about enough of me. I do write books. I have a book called Win Your Horse's Heart, and I just finished writing a course, Spring Tune Up, and it just launched yesterday. So
Ooh.
that's a little bit about me, and that's enough.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's a few things that, as you're talking there, really kind of stuck in my mind. You were a horse trainer and you quit training for the public because your body, you just didn't feel like you could take it. And so
Mhm.
that's where I feel like, this program and, or whatever program people decide to do, your body is your greatest asset as a horse trainer because you physically have to get out there and do it. It's not like, somebody that pretty much sits behind a desk and they have intellectual abilities that they use mostly, but your body is your greatest asset. So how do you take care of it? And I think so many times we, as horse people and horse trainers, we take much better care of our horses than we do ourselves. And so we have to make it a priority because if we aren't healthy enough, we don't, we can't ride, which then leads to, if riding is our real passion or our livelihood, then what does that do to you? Sherry, what did it do to you mentally when you had to make
Oh, it was
the decision?
huge because it had been my identity for over 25 years. And so you're like, who am I now?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And where
So
do
it
I
was
go from here?
emotional, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I let go. Although I do have a horse coming next week. So, and I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't started this. And
Oh,
she's only
awesome.
going to be here for a week. It's just a little tune up from a rider that doesn't have much confidence. The horse is broke to ride. I actually sold her the horse, so I know the horse very well. So I'm
Mhm.
not like getting on a bronc or something, you know.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't have even done that a week ago.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Very cool. So, let's go through the process. So you reached out to me and you said, "Hey, I want to get a program." And so I had another client in Burwell and I did slip in a horse treatment also. So I also work on horses. And so I had enough that I thought, well, Burwell's not that far away. I can just get up there and we can do an in-person session. And so we did your evaluation. I looked at your range of motion. I did your strength testing and then developed a plan. And then I took you through all of those exercises kudos to Jamie Chaffin. She let us use her chiropractic clinic.
Yes.
And so we took you through all of those activities in the clinic. We got you signed up on the app. Tell everybody about the app and what your feelings are about it. Do you feel like it's easy to use? What are your thoughts on it?
Thank you. Yes, I'm not an app person. In fact, Becky had to show me how to load it. So I don't use apps, but it is easy, even for a person who doesn't use apps. And I really like it because I can check off the exercises. And this week on the Pilates 100, actually, I'm doing Pilates 50 instead of 100. I'm not up to 100 yet, but you only had two down. And it even has a place like if you feel like adding another one, you can add another one. So I added two more on the Pilates one and did four instead of two. So it's adaptable that way, that you can change it. And I like that it keeps track of everything for me. And so I think it's really easy to use. And I really like that at the end of the workout, then I can message you if I have any problems or anything. Like one day I tried the back step on my mounting block and oh, it was way too hard. And so we adapted it to just standing on a book. And
Yes.
So she helps you if you're like having trouble on the app. You can just message her. One day I was doing one that was hurting my wrist, and she just said, put my fist there instead of my wrist. And so that's really helpful too.
Mhm. Yeah, so I try to, try to read all of those messages because I get a notification on my phone when you guys complete a workout, and I get a notification if you leave me feedback, and so I try to get back to people right away if if I possibly can. So,
Yeah.
um,
The
yeah.
app is handy too because you don't forget, like, what other exercise did she tell me to do? Like when you've been to a physical therapist regular, they don't, if they don't have an app, then you're just like, I can't remember what that exercise was. Even another thing I like about them, because there were several of them that we did together, but I'm like, how do you do that? And she
Mhm.
has a video on there that you can watch, and I watched them several times to make sure that I was doing them right. So that part is helpful too.
Good, good, good. Well, I am really glad to hear that. I think probably the app, the thing that is hard is like yourself, if you're not one for knowing how to install apps and get it up and running, that's we've learned, I guess, through trial and error that for those of you that aren't more techy, we really try to help you through that process so you can get over that hurdle, and that's just that's just kind of a technology thing, I guess, but it's the age we live in for sure. Do you
Hmm.
have any comments for people or suggestions, like if they're like, I just really don't know if she can help me. I don't know if she, I live so far away. Do you think, I know you can't really attest for the being a virtual eval, but if you have anybody
Hmm.
that's be on the fence about it, what would your recommendation be, or what would your advice be for them?
Right. Well, it was a game changer for me, and I really didn't even imagine that it would happen that quickly. But of course, the person has to be motivated and actually do the exercises to get the results that I got. I mean, it's just like horse training, I train a horse with a person and then they go home and they don't get the results because they don't do it.
Yes. Yep.
And but I just encourage you to do it because you are not going to believe how quickly your body can come back if you
Hmm.
actually do it and do it every day.
Hmm.
And well, even she said you didn't have to do it every day, but I'm a bit of an overachiever. So and I want results and I want it now. And but I would say it is worth every single penny. Just in an eye opener too, because some of us don't realize how far we've let our body go, especially for the aging group. I work with a lot of aging women, that are 50 plus,
Hmm.
for riding. And I just had two this week that says, man, I've just lost my balance and my strength that happened overnight. Well, it probably really didn't happen overnight, but you're just noticing it now. And
Yes.
so I would just encourage every rider, because especially, it doesn't matter what your age is, you will be surprised at how much more flexibility and strength you can get. And it's going to be, your horse is going to thank you
Hmm.
because you're going to give better cues. You're not going to be sitting on there all crooked, and you're not going to be spurring them when you're not supposed to be spurring them. And your cues are going to be so much clearer to your horse when you're so much more aware of your body and you're not dealing with that amount of pain, because when you're dealing with that amount of pain, you're protecting yourself all the time, even if you don't know it.
Yes. Yeah. And like we talked earlier, like if people are weak and they don't have balance and they don't
Mm-hmm.
have strength, they can maybe sit up on that horse, but if the horse does any little thing like stumbles or
Mm-hmm.
jumps sideways, then they're coming off, and then that
Yes.
result in such a devastating injury. You can have a fracture, you can tear something up, it can be something very serious. So the work that you put in for getting stronger and getting your balance better, it is
Mm-hmm.
really for the safety of you, the safety of your
Amen.
horse, everything. So it really um is paramount. Like if you wear a helmet when you ride, that's great and you're using protection there. But protect yourself by getting yourself stronger.
Mhm,
And it's
mhm,
not a magic little pill that you can swallow. It's not easy, but life isn't easy. And I tell people it's a lot like eating. You don't just eat once. You can't just exercise one day and expect it to help. Like you have to do it daily and you have to
mhm.
do it frequently for it to give you results. So
The other thing I would like to do as a recommendation and talk about it is, um, my husband and my husband was a bodybuilder, and so we go to the gym to lift weights a lot over the years. We haven't for the last couple of years, but I would go to the gym anyway and just do some weights and treadmills and different exercises and things. But what I like about this is it is focusing the areas I didn't know I needed to focus on. I can
Mhm.
still go to the gym and lift weights and do my treadmill or whatever I want to do, but I wasn't honing in on the ones that needed it more.
Mhm.
And that is what Becky has really helped me do that I didn't realize I needed.
That's awesome. And yeah, our exercises are very unique. Sherry, you've
Yes,
probably
I'd
never done
never
anything like it
a
before.
lot of them I had not done. Mhm.
Yeah. But the reason why they're so unique is because they are purposely made to reposition your pelvis to get the muscles activated that you don't normally activate, to get those stronger, those muscles that we don't just naturally strengthen in our daily activities. I mean, everybody that has horses and livestock, they're like, well, I'm strong because I go out and I feed
Mhm.
my horses and I do this and that.
Mhm.
Well, those muscles just keep getting stronger, your quads and your
Mhm.
biceps and your back muscles. Usually, I find that people are very strong in their back. They think they're weak in their back if they have back pain, but their back muscles are usually turned on, and it's usually their abs that are turned off, because we're made so that the muscle that's opposite of, I like our back muscles, if they're turned on all the time, then our abs are turned off all the time. And so the exercises are really targeted at the muscles that are typically not addressed in daily life to help
Mhm.
kind of combat the normal, wear and tear that you get on your body. Yeah. Well, great. Do you have any questions, any concerns, anything else that you would like to add? And if people want to know more about your program, I guess, where do they go to find your stuff, Sherry? Where do they go to find your new
Uh-huh.
set, Jessica?
My main website is www.heartinyourhand.com. And then I have a Facebook group called Sherry Jarvis Horsemanship, and I post a lot of things on there. That's where my I originated my course from, because people this spring wanted a spring tune-up on the Facebook page. So I just started spring tuning up my horses, because normally I ride all winter, but this winter I was gone. I went to Wyoming to help someone on a ranch, and so I didn't ride my horses all winter, which is not normal for me. And so I really never had to do a spring tune up because I rode all winter. But this winter I did not. So I did little spring tune up ideas, and I came up with 20 habits to develop to be a better horseman and make a better partnership and connection with your horse. And then I added to that, as a bonus, what makes a good rider, and I put Becky in there. Becky helps make me a good rider. So that's how you find me.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we sure appreciate you taking time. We will let you go so that you can, well, hold on. 1 minute. Destry's joined us. Hey, welcome to the party,
Yay.
Made it. Hi, how are you?
Yay. I can stay
um,
about 5 more minutes. I have a lesson at 10:30, and so I have to get out to the barn and at 10 and saddle horses. But I want to hear a little bit.
oh yeah, no. I've just been following along, and I absolutely love the success you're having. And we've had a lot of people there that have had to quit doing stuff because their body just wasn't keeping up and things like that. But um, one of the things that I've seen with these programs is just like you said. Did you say you started 10 days ago?
Yes,
And to
tremendous
have
difference already.
Yeah, and so just the amount of time, um, the quick turnaround that people are seeing in
Mhm.
just a week and a half of doing stuff has been amazing. And you're right, just like you were saying, you were working muscles that you hadn't worked before. And so that's what these programs are geared towards, are working muscles that are directly needed for riding horses, and maybe you didn't know that you needed to strengthen. And so just a great testament you had there, and we love that you're having so much success so quickly.
Me too.
Awesome. Well, anything else you'd like to add before you need to go, Sherry?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay, well, once again, thank you so much for
Yep.
joining us. We loved hearing your story. And if you want a spring tune up and you want to check out Sherry's stuff, go to her website, go to the Facebook group, ask to join her Facebook group. And it's a really cool thing that you're doing, Sherry, and I'm really glad we can help you continue to do it.
And as always, let your health be the pivot point to your success.